Welcome, Wesley Gonzalez. I'm going to unmute you. So welcome. Can you hear us? Can you see us?
All good, all good.
Fantastic. There we go. We did that really well. I'm impressed with myself. So Wesley, welcome to our little flock here. We've got people from as far as Spain on our Zoom today. We've got Mercedes over in Spain, and we've got Claire in Tunbridge. So it's an international, going international. So we're absolutely thrilled to pieces to have you join us.
Yeah, lovely to be here.
And so thanks for making it down. So we're absolutely over the moon about your record, and it's probably one of our favourites on Domino Publishing right now. So we were just really keen for people to get to meet you and discover that you're actually not an appalling human. Or maybe you are. Maybe that's what we'll decide that by the end of this Zoom.
So it's a bit enlightened on it.
How are you feeling right now? How does it feel to release an album in lockdown?
It's odd, but I feel like it's gone really well so far. I've got really great reviews from it, and I'm exceptionally proud of it. And I've been really great with the sort of feedback we've been getting so far. So it's been really enjoyable.
So I was we've been listening to your album quite a lot. Obviously, we have to in order to work it for film and TV. But it sort of feels like it's kind of taken on a bit of a new meaning, given what's been going on in the last few months. Do you feel that yourself, or is it difficult for you to get any kind of perspective on it because you've written the songs in the context of your own thoughts at the time?
I think they all stick with me as they're all very visual in my head of where I was and where I was living, and sort of it all reminds me of living around Brixton at the time and stuff like that. So I'm interested in your viewpoint on the current situation. I haven't clocked that myself.
Well, I think this morning we were watching your new video, which is essentially based in your own funeral.
Yes.
And it, for me, personally, I have been contemplating my own death more than I've ever contemplated my own death ever.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else has been doing this, but I actually made my own songs to be played at my funeral playlist, and have been sort of thinking about what happens if I did suddenly get a disease and I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to go.
That's totally the concept of it was written around, was the idea of or the last track in particular, not the whole record, but that Did You Get What You Paid For track that's coming up as a single soon, is all based around what I would, if I was in control of what was said, or whatever at my funeral, what would I have said? And I thought Did You Get What You Paid For was a good sentiment.
So I think the chorus or a line that's been echoing in my head is, I will die someday. What will the weather be like? I can't stop laughing. And even this morning, I was looking out the window and going, "Oh, it's really sunny. Oh, now it's raining." And then will it rain? And then will I see my family? I haven't seen my family for 14 weeks. I'm sure other people were in a similar situation. So it sort of just seems like, wow, this is like basically what's been going around in my head, but in a song now.
Oh, it's interesting you say that, because I haven't thought of it myself, but it totally does all link up, doesn't it?
So out of curiosity, I did sneak the video around so people can have a look at it. Who is in the video? Are they people that you know? And
majority of fans. I sent out a thing on Instagram just saying, if you've got a green screen, get in contact. And there's been a couple of people where I've just dropped round as you can see, I've got the green screen behind me now, driving up and dropping it off with friends so they can film their own bits and stuff like that. But I'm really impressed with how many people we sort of got involved in it and who did really great stuff for it. So I'm really pleased with it.
Well, I'm gonna send it around again just in case anyone hasn't seen it. Gosh, I just accidentally played it in the background. Sorry. Sorry, learning. So so let me just do that. Okay, everyone in the meeting, you're going to get the hidden link. So on Thursday, you're going to have album of the day on Six Music, which I think is pretty cool. How's that feel for you?
Great, yeah, I'm really great that it's getting lots of great attention from radio and stuff. And Thursday will be really good fun to have it playing through all day. I know Mark Riley's also playing a track every night over the next week or two of each song of the record, which would be great as well. So lots of great radio action coming through this week.
I mean, normally we would be talking about touring and things like that, and I'm assuming that's just completely on hold for now.
We're in the process of doing a online show we're planning out at the moment, which we're hoping to be able to announce on Thursday when it's album of the day, and broadcast live from somewhere like Paper Dress if we can get there, or we're basically finding a venue for it, but we should be able to do some online stuff soon, which would be good, because it's been a real drag not being able to perform the songs or anything.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How do you feel about the need to perform songs? I mean, some artists feel really uncomfortable about touring. Is this something that you feel is integral to what you do as a writer?
Yeah, I think that there's very much a performative element of the songs. They're all quite grandiose in sort of their actions anyway. It sort of suits it in a live setting. But I mean, the other good thing about being in the lockdown has been actually finding ways to adapt and sort of be creative in the way that you push stuff forward that isn't playing shows. So there's been other things that have been sort of stimulating to sort of continue on, but I do miss just playing in a room with people.
I mean, I think one of the things that I credit as good songwriting is when you're singing about death, but everyone's dancing. And I think for me, that's like the definition of a good disco pop track. That there's like an irresistible beat, and there's an irresistible kind of primal instinct to want to dance and just move your body to something. But actually, what you're singing about touches on some really quite traumatic elements. And it sort of feels like we want to be able to share that physically together in a space, play music loud and get on down. But I think one of the things I was really fascinated by in this record is kind of your technical process for putting it together, because it feels like it's quite a disco-y, funky, upbeat vibe.
Yeah.
And just wondered if you might be happy to share a little bit more about the process of creating it and getting that sound.
Well, the music, I think that the music and lyrics are sort of, they very, very opposite in a way, but I think there's sort of a lot of the music I was listening to was sort of funk and disco stuff. I got really obsessed with disco on this record, and sort of listening back to sort of obscure sort of Cloud One stuff, and then also sort of more post-punky sort of ZE records and stuff like that, Liquid, and finding all these things and just being obsessed with making people dance. I don't know if it's my years of being in an indie band has made me, obsessed with the idea of dancing. But it goes in tandem with this very, lyrically is very much like deep set in, emotion land and stuff. But as you said, it's the same thing with that disco thing. If you listen to like Gloria Gaynor or whatever, all those tracks have incredibly tragic sort of lyrical themes. But I love that juxtaposition of the two things together.
I'm enjoying your use of the phrase obsessed with the idea of dancing. I'm going to really think about that today. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things I noticed in the kind of bio and notes that were sent around was that that your reference points came a lot from Domino Publishing. So you mentioned Liquid. I think you also referenced Arthur Russell. So it's almost like you're doing our job for us, which is really nice. So appreciate that. Just wanted to flag that.
You've got a good roster, you know.
And also in those notes, you spoke really openly about having therapy. So your last album was kind of pre-therapy. Your new album is post-therapy.
Yeah.
And it does feel like there's a lot more openness about people having therapy. And that's going to be amplified throughout lockdown.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you feel, I mean, this is a ridiculous thing to ask, but do you feel fixed now? Do you feel like you've kind of like got that done now, and now you're onto a winning start, everything's looking rosy?
Well,
or, you know, where do you go post therapy?
I don't think I'll ever be cured. But I think it's always a process, and you sort of see, like, the thing that I really love about this record is there's so much more acceptance on the last album I did. It's, you know, far more allowing yourself to feel okay. And it's also the thing, in the past few years, there's been more openness and talk about mental health issues and stuff like that. But sometimes I find it quite patronizing, or sometimes it's a bit po-faced and earnest. And I sort of wanted to counteract that and have my own viewpoint on what it is to suffer from mental illness, and to face it in that sense. And that definitely came through the process of therapy.
I appreciate you sharing that, because I think we've all got our own experience of that, and it's something that I think this album touches upon strongly. When you delivered the record, you supplied the most incredible notes to each song, which was very generous of you, and we might refer to those throughout the playback. But I don't want to talk all day. I do want people to get to listen to the album. So I've sent everyone the video to Did You Get What You Paid For? There's also a video to the song Change and Try to Tell Me Something. And throughout most of those videos, I think you are dancing in most of those videos.
Yeah, I love a bit of dancing.
Yeah.
So the sad fact is the lockdown is that I've not been able to dance as much as I would usually like.
Well, I really want everyone to get on their feet and dance if they feel the urge to. I may lose it at some point, because I have in the last 2 playbacks that we've done. Got my maracas out, and I think I was moshing in another. So Wesley, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Yes,
and so I don't know if you've got anything else you'd like to add or share.
No, I hope you enjoy it. I'm very proud of it. I think it's great. So, hope you think so too. Lovely to meet you all.
So Wesley, what were you trying to tell?
Pardon?
What were you trying to tell? You're trying to tell me something. What were you trying to
I think it's all about miscommunication with people and sort of, it's all like close relationship stuff and feeling like you're saying something. It's actually written, what it was written about is I've reversed the roles. So I'm trying to empathise with the person who wasn't listening to what I was saying or whatever. That's sort of the idea behind the lyrics of it. And I think there's sort of music stuff. The music, I think I was listening a lot to Democracy and Angel by Eurythmics. I was really obsessed with that track around the time of writing it. It's the last song on the record that was written, I think. And I just wanted to have a real big rock-off pop single. That's sort of where that one's come from.
mute? It's definitely a good pop song, and we love this one. And it's got great feeling. So I think we were talking earlier in the lunchtime session about how disco-y and rhythmic your music was, and that your inspirations were, I don't know, kind of surprising given the content of your music.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really interesting to hear like how you got to that point. Like, why were you drawing on Prince and disco?
I think this one in particular, I actually remember reading that book about the New York sort of Strokes LCD sound system, you know, Meet Me in the Bathroom, I think it was called. And I was really into like how much they just wanted to, like LCD and all those people were drawing on older things like Liquid just to sort of get people moving. And I think that was a big influence on this track in particular, that I was sort of like, I felt like I wasn't going out to as many shows where dancing was applicable, or, you know, that sort of disco rhythmic stuff was being pushed as much, or at least the shows that I was going to at the time.
Yeah, I think we probably overemphasised the need to go dancing earlier at lunchtime. And what was it you said? Oh God, it was like, I'm never going to forget this. Oh yeah, you said you were obsessed with the idea of dancing.
Yeah.
And it's like the anti-dreary album.
Yeah. Which juxtaposes with some of the dreariness in the lyrics as well, and sort of balances that out maybe.
Shall
Not
we?
dreary, but maybe bleak.
Shall we listen to Wind Your Neck Wind Your Neck In, which just started?
Floors, wooden doors, show me something I have not seen before. Violence in a fabric tent. Wind your neck in. Adrenaline is kicking in, takes me over. 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 Do I think before I speak? Do I just blurt it out? Do I freak you out? I think I'm thinking too much. Do I think before I speak? The joke I just told, was it below the belt? I think I'm thinking too much. French tips, an emery board. Please do not touch something you can't afford. Her messy habit is coming on. I'll wind my neck in.
So this song, the bass line on this song is so addictive. It's
Yeah,
so good.
it's great, and it's very ashes to ashes. That sort of great thing.
So what happened? What happened in this record with bass guitar? Because it just seems so strong.
I think that was the real obsession of everything I was listening to seemed to come from very bass-driven music, and I was lucky to the guy Joe playing bass. I was just telling him, I told him I'm making the first album to play. I want you to really learn how to play slap bass properly. And I was like forcing him to constantly like, if you learn any of that slap bass, you know. And I think he's worried I'm going to get him onto fretless bass or something next. But yeah, this one's sort of about social anxiety. I think it was written around the time I was doing a lot of festivals on the last album, and that sort of feeling you come home from a long weekend in a field, and then you sort of go, shit, what are all the bad things I said to people, or, you know, these sort of nerves and worries. So I think that sort of lines like violence in a fabric tent is sort of directly...
The post-evening guilt.
Yes, indeed.
Been there.
I just like the line, I think I'm thinking too much. It just makes me laugh so much.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, I'm definitely guilty of that a lot, you know.
So shall we hear a little bit of the next song, Friend at First?
I guess I'll take it. Disappointment always leaves me flat. I didn't know you were so stupid. You were a friend at first, but you made the situation worse. A big skull only gets you so far. Sing another song about the sun. It's never rolling down. Oh, what an intelligent soul you are.
Toxic friendships.
Pardon? Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of, but yeah, I guess that's sort of a lot of it. I think it's sort of finding a lot of people to be closed-minded. I think that's sort of like, you know, a closed mind only gets you so far, or whatever. It's sort of, you know, or feeling judged by people, or like sort of, you know, and then you fall out, you know, and that's sort of the basis of it. But I think musically, I was listening to like, particularly Rick James influenced, and sort of lots of hip hop stuff that I was listening to, like mainly from the original samples and stuff like that. I'm really happy with that one. I think that was the first one where I got it really bass heavy, and I sort of set out the groove of the whole record.
Shall we let the next song play?
Sure.
I was cut from the same cloth. None of us thought this would happen. None of us know what our reaction is. My girl's gone far alone. I got consequences I don't even see. I guess it's true when it's happening. Seems I don't know what sorry means. It happened to me. I opened the door at 5 o'clock. His eyes seemed to lie. The coroner told me he was not. How could I say how I was feeling? I stayed numb throughout the evening.
So I've been posting the notes for these on chat, the notes that you sent when we first
Yeah.
the album delivered. And I found this note quite, I mean, it's quite upsetting, you know.
Yeah.
And-
It was a strange time because I literally stopped working at the job I was at, and then the boss had a heart attack. He was struggling through his heart attack, and he was quite a violent alcoholic. You know, there's lots of quite bad memories of him, but I also had a real closeness with him as well that was conflicting. And I think it was all, it's kind of manifest all those sort of feelings about somebody passing in that way, and one thing, which is hard to do, but I think I'm really pleased with the way it came out. It still reminds me of like not as, you know, still say the Beatles, but that She's Leaving Home track on Sgt. Pepper's, that's sort of the feel that I was sort of trying to find, and sort of that melancholy of like sort of old Nick John. I think it's such a good sort of song that sort of represented it, like sort of add a bit of that to this project.
It's got quite an unusual sort of Arabic feel to it as well. I was curious about where that might.
That's funny actually, because I there's a couple of things like that that came through. I was listening to a lot of Ethiopian music and sort of Haley Merger and the Ethiopian compilations, Mulasi, and stuff. And I've not noticed that myself, but there's definitely, I know the sax line on Did You Get What You Paid For the last track, there's definitely we were talking about Ethiopian jazz stuff when we were doing.
I think we should let Change play loud because Will's already losing it for
Things change, people change. You were a quiet boy at the local school.
It's really hard to stop over that bit. It's such a key moment. It really makes me think of Mark Harmon. So I mean, I have to say, it's just really exciting to hear you talking about Ethiopian and Ghanaian house music and guitar music. I really want you to make a supplementary playlist of all of the songs.
I put one up on. There's one on the Spotify page I put up a couple of days ago that sort of has a lot of that stuff.
I'll have to have that.
This one in particular, it's funny because I was listening to that Attack record a lot, and yeah, the original sort of sounds more like that. It sort of transformed into something by the time we were recording it, something different, and sort of it's all about a friend's sobriety and sort of being reassuring to him and sort of going everything's all right. So it sort of, I think it made sense to sort of try and make it as sort of defiant sounding as possible, and that was what we were sort of aiming for with it. I think it's come out really great in that sense of that's what we were planning on achieving. I feel like it sort of does now.
I think instrumentally there's so much to listen to in this song, and then the lyrics are incredibly strong. I think we were talking about that at lunchtime, about how you can find yourself down, like the best disco songs are the ones that have the most crushing, heartfelt lyrics, but you can't resist dancing to. I think that works really well in this particular song.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
Okay, shall we bob the air?
Son, get back. Empty breaths and cups of coffee. He asked me for my earliest memory. Wish I could change my past. Wes, could you come through and see me? Drink you consume just to get outside your room. Just tell yourself you need this. The toothbrush that you need, the fix you must conceive. I ain't dead yet, kid. Just try me. Empty breaths and cups of coffee. He asked me for my earliest memory. Wish I could change my past. Wes, could you come through and see me? Empty breaths and cups of coffee. He asked me for my earliest memory. Wish I could change my past.
I'm curious to know from your notes that you shared before if this is your post-therapy breakthrough, this song.
I think this is the first track I wrote with that in mind, and I'd only been in therapy for a couple of months. And I went to Pret a Manger after the session, and I got a smoothie that I wouldn't usually get a smoothie. I thought, why have I done that? Because I didn't want to go home and think about what I'd been talking about or whatever, and sort of the prudence you continue to get outside your room, sort of those little lines, and sort of very directly referencing that, but also feeling by the end it's sort of, you know, was reassuring things are going to be all right part as well. It was the first time I went, if you're feeling strongly about it, obviously something's worse or something's changing. I think this is the most direct reference to psychotherapy on the record. The therapy thing.
And was the smoothie worth it?
No, a smoothie's never worth it, is it?
No.
Yeah, but yeah, no, yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to the next
Each time I close my eyes, I can soundly say she was a good woman today, and that'll never change. I can be a different person each day, but I'll always love you, babe. Some things just stay the same. Girl, you're my family now. Girl, you're my family now. Altercations I'm not happy with. The temptation that always rides me. She will always talk me down. I ask myself, do I have everything or nothing? All I have is you. Damn right. Did you hear that conversation I was having? It was painful, and I'm painfully yours. Girl, you're my family now. Girl, you're my family now. Altercations I'm not happy with. The temptation that always finds me. She will always talk me down. I'm sorry if I don't speak all night. I'm just not well. I think you can tell now, baby. A closed book, a victim of sorts. What do you see? Don't tell me
So I remember when I first listened to this, I was just thinking that this Zoom is very similar to when we hear albums for the first time from an artist and then we all talk about the songs, and it's sort of bringing back that memory of us sitting in our meeting room, I think this is the first time.
Yeah.
And I felt this really resonated with me about like what actually family means
Yeah,
and how it can take different forms.
yeah. And I think that when, or especially I think that the part of it is if you come from dysfunction, that you find, you know, creative ways of finding new families or whatever, and friends or relationships or whatever. And I guess that's what it's sort of conveying in the most sort of love songy way on the record, I guess. But yeah, I think that's a good summation of where it's coming from.
I think this is another example of one of the songs that has taken new meaning in lockdown season. And like I think we're all revisiting what family is. Be it due to the fact that you're kind of like isolated in a building, people that you didn't really ever speak to before, but now you're relying on them. Or like I've literally just reunited with a family member I haven't seen for 30 years and all that, this sort of thing. And I don't know, I just think there's like a lot more to this song than first meets the eye.
Yeah.
But at the risk of talking over the next song, I really liked in your notes that you described Isaac Hayes. You put a comment saying that you enjoyed finding great strength and inspirational masculinity.
Yeah.
And I just love that description. and I don't really want to go down a wormhole, but I just think it is quite an extraordinary time to launch an album with a white male on the front cover, and underneath it, in massive letters, the Call of Communion.
Yeah.
And I think it's really healthy at the moment to have you representing the hatred of a white male, talking so gracefully about his emotions and having references that are from the black community. I think it's a really healthy fashion without being too obvious.
Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't write this album with lockdown and Black Lives Matter in, you know, it wasn't like at the forefront of conversation, but it sort of feels like it's taking that on. It has to carry that a little bit because that's what we're going through right now. I mean, how do you feel about that?
What's got up to my dismay?
I mean, I don't know. Right, let's let this song play out.
Shove him away. I heard what he said. Tell him ours not that hard. Please show a way to not concentrate. I'm tired of thinking. You really don't believe that, do you? You really don't believe that, do you?
Is the piano a new thing for you, Wesley, or have you always used piano?
Only since, well, for the last 5 years. I quit playing guitar because I got bored of it and decided to have too much guitar on everyone's records. The first album had 0 guitar on it. This one had one track of guitar on it. But it's relatively new, but it comes a bit more naturally, I think, into playing guitar.
So I pretty much into
I thought you had some knowledge. Oh, big brain, he's been to college. Well, you fooled me. I've lost a father to that's you. And it's always the fault of the family. You can only get drowned out. Watch me shout till I run out of steam. Fall in love with your ego. And sorry is just a word. Haven't you heard?
think this would make a great theme. Like one of those 90s TV shows, one of them the Gam Brothers.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, that one sort of going back to what you were saying about showing my family now and the racial masculinity thing. I think that's the other end of it, of the sort of male ego and sort of repressing that as something you are raised with. And that's sort of the basis of that one. And I say in the sort of notes, that's quite heavy, so might as well make it sound like ABBA as well. Dysfunctional disco.
Yeah, we like dysfunctional disco.
You aren't that smart now, are you? A child at 40 years of age. You drag them down there with you. Military loves company. I mean, you might as well stick the knife in here. I'm tired to hear your opinion. I woke up in sweats. The dream got real. The mice were my parents. You tried to see the scenes around you. They swallowed you whole. Your mind is cloudy, but then again, this beer just cost $2.99. You ask way too much of me. I have to get out. I still need time to grieve. Could one man be that busy? Or do you scare the life out of me?
So I think these are the most disturbing notes I've ever read about a song. It was about having a dream about killing some mice, and the mice were then grasped by your therapist who the mice were. Said the mice were your parents.
Yeah.
I remember being quite disturbed when I first read this, but actually I had the weirdest dream last night, which I'm not going to go into, where there was a strange death that sat in my head all day. But yeah, do you think we can elaborate a little more about this song?
Well, I think I write a lot from dreams, and sort of being able to decode them became a lot more interesting when you had a clearer head, or sort of in therapy sessions and talk it through. And usually people find it very boring to talk about your dreams, but it was like one of the first times where I said something like that, and it instantly, when he said, "What is it?" it all became very clear in one go. It's sort of like the references to like your clouded mind in the song and stuff like that. I think you're in reference to seeing things clearly or from a new perspective.
I love talking about my dreams, and I love hearing other people's dreams, and I wish more people would talk about their dreams because it's so entertaining. So I'm encouraging it.
All my ones at the moment are just about getting texts off people and waking up and thinking I haven't texted them back. I'm a bad friend.
That's so
I'm very mundane.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to tell you what I dreamt last night. Maybe it's far around. It was mad. Oh god, it really. I was thinking like a long time to get over it. So I'm going to let If I'm Sad play up loud. Like, I really like this song, and it's a good fun song. That one.
The week has been hard, the next one that comes will be harder. If I'm sad, be sad. When I smile, stop laughing hard. If I'm sad, be sad. The week has been hard, the next one that comes will be harder.
We were talking about just functional disco and I'm sad
Sorry, Linda, I missed that.
I just love that song, If I'm Sad. It is dysfunctional disco for me, massively.
Yeah.
Which is one phrase that you brought to my attention, dysfunctional disco. Like, I just love, like, when we first heard the record, that was the song that changed in my brain. I was like, no, I really like this record because sometimes you need to be sad and you want to stand in the middle of the dance floor dancing your socks off because you feel sad. And also, like, even Prince William said it, like, if you are sad, you should be allowed to be sad, you should be allowed to shout it from the hilltops. But I just thought it was so extraordinary, such an extraordinary line. I also loved how you talk about how extraordinary it is that people waste their energy on hate. And again, it just seems so relevant to what's going on right now.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's also the amount of sort of what you brought up before about sort of toxic masculinity, those sort of things that are really omnipresent and sort of looking back. Even I haven't really registered like how prominent a theme it is on the record.
I mean, I have to say, I've in the last week become interested in John Bernard Shaw, and I was watching an old documentary that Gabriel Byrne did of him, and If I'm Sad really makes me think of him and how he felt about war and what a senseless waste of energy, bodies, human beings that was. Anyway, that's where my mind went on that song. So we're now nearly at the end, so I do want to let people hear this final song.
I'll be set free. I'd love to sleep in your arms. What will the weather be like? Will it rain? Will I see my family? I will die someday. What will the weather be like? Will it rain? Will I see my family? I will die someday.
That lyric is so dark, but it doesn't have to make me giggle. I really have to stop laughing. I was also being chased around the living room by sunbeams.
But yeah, that's my favourite of all of them. Did you get what you paid for? I'm very pleased with that one.
So the video went up online today, and
yeah, that's just
that's the
private
hidden
link.
link.
Yeah.
Is it now public for public consumption?
No, it's going up. It's just been sent off for press. It should be out in the next couple of weeks. I'm not too sure the actual impact date on it.
So the video is your funeral. And we were talking about it earlier, and you said that you'd invited fans to come to your funeral. I just find everything very funny, but you know, it's kind of like that. It just brings out a sort of dark humour in me, and I think we need that sort of gallows humour right now.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of the. I've lost my train of thought, but yes,
it's okay. We're just trying to decide if you really are an appalling human or not. Making me laugh at death. Whilst the whole world is sort of having some kind of dystopian encounter with itself.
It does, yeah. It does feel very strange. It's funny working on a video for a month of my own funeral during this, and slightly worrying about the connotations of that. But I think that's what I wrote it about. I wrote it with that in mind, that what would I want said, or what would I want about my personality acknowledged at my own funeral or whatever. And then I also, the other sort of thing in tandem with that was writing the ultimate sort of last track for a set that you would end and you would say to the audience, do you all love me? Am I what you want? Did you get what you paid for? And then you can leave and you have your answer.
Yeah, it's hard to know what to say after someone says that, but the first thing that came into my head was I was been watching weird documentaries. I mentioned George Bernard Shaw. I was also watching a documentary on bingo the other day.
Oh, fab.
And it made me think of you. It was a lady who is such a fan of bingo that she said when she's in the crematorium and she's being laid to rest and the curtains close, she wants the vicar to say to everyone, thank you everybody, now eyes down for a full house. And I don't even know why I'm saying this to everyone. I think if there was more people on this Zoom, I probably wouldn't have said that. But anyway, so yeah, I really appreciate you talking through the songs. We wouldn't normally talk over the music, but whilst we've got you,
all good. Yeah.
Why not? So your album's going to be Album of the Day on Six Music this week, which we've been very naughty telling everyone. And what else are you going to be up to, given that you can't go on tour or do the usual?
We're booking in. I've been chatting today about what date we're planning a live session, full band next month at some point, halfway through, which hopefully we'll be able to announce on Thursday for Six Music's Album of the Day. And got more sort of press bits coming up and stuff like that. And then I'm also in the process of mixing another single that should be coming up as well for post-album release as well. So yeah, lots of sort of bits and bobs to get my teeth sunk into.
And you've got your green screen ready behind you, and for inevitably video creations.
Yes, I'm going to give myself a week off after that month of that didn't get me paid for video, but I'm sure I'll come up with some other use for it.
Well, I was hoping that you might come up with a series of dance moves that we could make popular. We spoke a lot more about dancing earlier, but the record was out on Friday on Moshi Moshi. And I hope that we might be able to get you to come and join us again on Zoom. We don't really know what we're doing. We're making this up. But I quite like the idea of maybe getting a couple of other artists together and maybe all having a discussion about some things.
That'd be fab. Yeah, that'd be good fun.
But also really keen to hear the Spotify playlist that you made with all your different references, because it sounds
I'll email it over when we got off the call. Yeah.
Lovely.
Brilliant. All right, fantastic.
Well, thanks a lot, and thank you everyone for joining us. Have a superb evening.
Cheers, you too.
Take care of yourselves,
Sure.
and we'll see you soon.
See you later.